Hey guys, welcome to the video today. This is Saturday, December 7th, 2019. Going to be doing a chart analysis on Bitcoin versus the US dollar. And let's see here, let me just make one small change to this. And then of course let me give you some disclaimers here. Of course this isn't financial advice. I am not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research, and I'm just giving my opinion on the market. And as always, if you enjoy these videos, like, subscribe, share, and we're also looking to grow our community of like-minded individuals. So if you'd like to join our free-to-use Discord server, feel free to throw in a comment and I can get you an invite code. Okay, so let's just take a look at things here. We've been talking about, this pattern, since the beginning. We had our predominant low down here at about, we'll just call it 6,500 for good measures. So we had a good swing low at 6,500, and then we had, what appeared to be a completed impulse up here to about 78.50. So we take this down here from 6,500 all the way up here to 78.50. And then we do our pullback to our next dominant swing. So we've got our low, our high, and then our internal retracement low. So we come back down here to this level, which is at about 7,072 or so. And then we're just going to kind of be projecting whether or not we're going to be going in for a 3 or we're going to be going in for a C. And just for the record, if this is an A, a B, and a C, we're going to be looking again for 7,900, 8,400, and maybe 8,750. But if we go up to over 9,000, so I would say even if we broke 8,800, we're going to be going in for a 3, and that would indicate that we are going to be going much higher. More than likely, we're going to be breaking out of the trend. I am aware that Discord has been having issues today, but I do believe that things are back up and running. If not, then we'll be soon. It just recently came back up for me. Okay, yes, cooking was great. We had a birthday celebration here locally, so that was nice. My brother and my sister-in-law, and we had family over. It was quite nice. But anyway, so we're basically looking for these moves up here to complete a C, which would complete our 4-wave. And again, we're looking at 7,900, 84 to 8,500, or sorry, 8,400 to 8,450. And of course, looking up here to 87.50. Again, if we break through this would indicate that we're likely going to be reversing. We're going to actually start our next bullish movement. Now, if that is the case, that would mean that this 3 comes back here, and then this would complete the 5. I'm a little skeptical on that. I'm not one of those that's going to tell you Bitcoin's going to go back down to 1,000, but again, I have been looking at 5,800 to 6,300 or so for a while, and I'm going to continue to look at that target for spot buys. Up here, it does look like things are going to move to the upside. It looks like we are very close. We had a little bit of channel here, and let me go ahead and zoom in on this just to kind of take a closer look and get rid of our Stokes that we have down there on the bottom. We had a nice little channel here. We had an A, B, C, D, E to get down here to our local low, and now we have just been kind of grinding up. And now where we're at right now is really quite interesting. This is a pretty critical area for us to hold. So the first level to hold, and we have done that, is right here at about 74.50. This was our resistance, then it became, or sorry, this was our support, and then it became our resistance. We plowed through it, and we tried to maintain it as support, then we came way down to create this local low. We had it as resistance, and then we pushed above it, and then we held. So that is fairly bullish to me. If we came down here again to about 74.40 to 74.50, I'd be interested in taking some some hefty low leveraged. I know those probably don't go well together. A long position, leveraged long position, down here at this level, and of course probably in validation below 7,400. So taking the 74.50 trade, stopping out below 7,400, knowing that there's probably going to be some stop hunts sitting at 7,400, you might want to go and layer in some bids between 74.50 and 7,400 and put your stop loss a little bit lower. Maybe give it a little ways, maybe 73.48 to 73.60, somewhere in that range. But again, what you're going to be looking for is a move up to, really at the very least, you're going to be looking for a move up to about 79 to 79.25. The 6.46% gain if you're using 10x leverage, which I don't condone necessarily using 10x leverage. It's what everybody talks about is easy math. So at 10x leverage, that's a 64.6% return on equity, and not a return on investments, a return on the equity that you put up as collateral for your leverage trade. If we do happen to go all the way up here, which this is really our high probability zone, that's at 12.96%, so that's 129.6% potential for potential 10% loss. But if you're layering, like I had mentioned, this 1% is actually a little bit smaller, but you're still going to be looking to get out of that trade, down here at roughly 73.50 or so. Nonetheless, I am looking for some upside. Of course, invalidation is going to be right here at 73.50 once we start crossing below that, although we can come down here to this trend line that I've got. Let's just poke around at this. So what we have here is we have a move up, so we have an A and a B, and I'm saying we're probably going to come down here for this C. I think this is going to be too deep for us, to be completely honest. This is probably a hot zone down here at 72.85, but I don't think it's going to retrace that deep. We're probably going to come in here for a flat of some kind. So just kind of wait to see how this plays out. Maybe it does come down to 7,400, and then I'm going to be looking for our next move that's going to start flipping some of these support and resistance levels. That's going to get us up here to our 5. It's going to complete this impulse to get us up here to where our target is. And again, that is mainly to complete a pattern that would be an A, a B, and a C. That's assuming we get that high. Still remains to be seen. Timing for this is probably the next 3 days. If it doesn't happen in the next 3 days, I think that we are going to roll over and go down. So, time does play a pretty significant factor in all of this. We can't move sideways for very much longer. We're looking at about 2 days here. 2 days. Before this lower trend line catches up with us, and then we're either going to bounce up and out of this or we're going to fall out of this. So, that still remains to be seen what that movement is actually going to be. But of course, if we do fall out of this, I do like to, keep track on both bullish and bearish situations here. So if we do happen to go sideways and we do actually end up breaking down and out of this, again, we're going to be looking for this move down, and again, it will likely take some time. But this move back down to 6,000 or so, maybe 6,100. We had a nice bounce here at 65, at 65.50. But if we fall out of this, then likely that would mean that our 4 is, which I have right here, this 4, which we are looking for this to be up here at about 8,400. That would have moved this over here to about 7,800, and that's going to take us again down to where our algo target is, which is going to be down here. The algo target, just for the record, is at 57.50. I've been talking about 5,800 to 6,300 as a means of catching the front run, which is likely to ensue if we come down here to this level. I would expect there to be significant liquidity, significant demand down here in the 6,000 level. Likely a lot of people are going to be waiting down here, but at the same time, if you got into this trade up here and you just are now giving all of this back to the market, your stop loss is probably going to be at 6,000, which is why I think that there's probably going to be a stop hunt at some point to cleanse the longs and to load up some new ones, and also to trap some shorts. Because it's not always good to be perma bull and perma bear. From one extreme to the other, you do have to kind of take a look at both these. So right now, I'm saying likely there's going to be some upside to 8,400 if we continue moving sideways again for the next 2 days. So if we stay in the, I would say, 73.50 up to 75.80. If we stay in this range for the next 2 days, I think we are going to fall down. I don't think we're going to break up. This move up really needs to happen today, tomorrow, and potentially in the Asia session on Sunday night, Monday morning. So kind of waiting for that to happen. But if that doesn't happen, then more than likely the direction is going to be down, and this would have been the top. We've had a lot of some really wild movements, a lot of shakeout candles, And so this is giving me a little bit of a bullish sentiment, which is why I'm saying 8,400 is a higher probability trade right now compared to the downside targets. But nonetheless, I do believe that if we go sideways and we don't see this breakup of trend, we're going to start rolling over. Let me go down to a 30-minute chart and just show you guys one thing, and then I'm going to go ahead and end this video for today. We had this this channel that we finally did break up and out of. And what I am taking a look at is this trend line right here. Let me turn it more solid, and let's pay attention to this. This is almost parallel with our channel that we had here. Just basically moved it up. So if I move this down, you can see that this is parallel with our channel that we had, and I just basically moved it up here to create a new area of resistance. So basically we hit the resistance here, we hit that resistance again, and we kind of punctured it just a little bit, but we got rejected. And so now we're sort of, in a falling wedge pattern, so to speak, which is why I'm kind of thinking we're probably going to come back down here to 7,400 before we start to move up. But I do think 8,400 is high probability, and to catch some leverage longs down here at the 7,400 range likely will play out very well. But especially if you're in your leverage trade, have a stop loss somewhere between 73.48 and 73.60, whatever is more comfortable for you. But what this is also going to do, this move up to 8,400, just for the record, what this is going to allow is a potential run on the alts. So, we're still looking at that. We're talking about that pretty heavily in the Discord. We're talking about VeChain. We're talking about Cardano. We're talking about Chainlink. Algo. There's many others. Cosmos. One BTC versus and also one USDT. We're keeping an eye on all of these things, and as this price continues to move to the upside on Bitcoin, those tether trading pairs on the alts are likely going to really see some decent upside. So if you want some insight into those, we're trying to keep a close eye on them on the Discord. So I could do some quick update videos on those, but likely those are going to be outdated within an hour or two anyway. Whereas this Bitcoin update is probably going to be valid for the next 2 to 3 days, and it's also one of the reasons why I don't do Bitcoin updates as often as I do some of the alts, because the alts are a lot more volatile than Bitcoin. I mean, granted, there is some volatility here, but I feel like we have a decent count on what we're looking at right now. We have our first wave and our second wave. Not to say that it's a wave 1 and a wave 2 or a wave A and then a wave B, but it's our wave up, and then our internal retracement. And now we're looking for upside targets. And again, I know I've said this before, 7,900 to 8,400. That's where we're going to be looking for this in the short term. So wherever you are in the world, hopefully you're having a fantastic day, fantastic night, good evening, and I will catch you all later.